Open your mind.
Hey out there, this is Buzz with TheSurvivalBuzz. I hope you guys seen all that white rural rage there at the beginning of this video. It's kind of how I picture it when they talk about it. So I missed some videos, I guess from a few weeks ago. MSNBC hosted an author that is coming out with a great new book, White Rural Rage. Maybe some of you guys have heard about this, where he basically goes on, writes a whole book about how people in rural areas, white people, are just a bunch of racist, homophobic bigots. And that's pretty much how we base our voting on. So if you're Republican, if you live in a rural area, you're simply just a moron that's voting because you're a racist and a homophobe. That's the world we're living in right now, and it's as ridiculous and crazy as that sounds, and you know, it might be comical to you. There's really nothing funny about it, and it seems to be spreading like wildfire. I've literally talked to white people that seem to think that it's impossible for black or brown people or whatever minority group other than whites to be racist. That it's impossible because, you know, they've been treated so bad over the years. Even though you're in the freest country in the world, and people are fighting evidently to get across the border to come over here and live this racist, bigoted life. This is not going to get any better, and this division that they're creating is just getting worse and worse, to the point people are writing books about it. It gets to the point, you know, I love a good debate with people, but anymore you can't debate because everything is so polarized that you know, the algorithms know who you are, and anytime you Google something, no matter which side of the line you stand on, you're gonna get simply information that's backing your beliefs and the way you think about things. So these liberal agendas that are out there, if somebody's already fairly liberal anyways, left-leaning, then that's all they're going to be fed. Anytime they Google any kind of statistic or history or anything like that, it's all going to be painted on this canvas that they want it to be. So the question is why? Why all this division? Is this simply just because Democrats have nothing better to do? They have no other way to get people on the Democrat side. You know, they claim that this is an attack on our democracy, even though, you know, I thought this was a constitutional republic we live in, but I think that ship is way sailed. That's long gone. So then why would they do it, you know? And not to mention, I mean, you can try every campaign in the world, you can write every book in the world, but if you're on the side of Joe Biden at this point, you're a moron anyways. I'm sorry if that offends anybody out there, but that's the reality of it. You're just a complete idiot anyways. You just have to be an idiot to think that he's done anything good in office. You have to be an idiot to think that any of these way left-leaning Democrats care anything about you. And it's funny, on this MSNBC show I watched where they were talking about this great book and stuff, you know, they treat Democrats, rural Democrats, like they're idiots, and that maybe that's why a lot of them are waking up. You know, they think you can just go out there in a Carhartt and milk a cow and everything's great, right? You're on the rural American team, and that's not the case. You know, they've turned their back on these people, and they'll do anything to rise to power at this point. So my theory on this whole thing is, you know, there's already this division that's built, and why not just push it further and further and further, where we're blatantly racist out in public and on national television, for when they do cut the grid, for when the power does go out and people start losing their crap. It's going to be real easy at that point for people to just follow the train they were on and start pointing the finger that, well, it's these white rural people, and then next thing you know, those people are being attacked or whatever the minority group is, I'm not a racist by no means, but it would take a blind man at this point not to realize that there is some racial division being created purposefully in this country. Worse than I've ever seen in my lifetime. I grew up as a kid in the 80s, and I thought we were all equal growing up. There were some talks about the past and things like that, but I feel like for the most part people were moving forward with their lives and not blaming their ancestors, blaming all the people nowadays for stuff their ancestors did back in the day. But this division is just creating more and more among people to the point that I don't think there's any fixing it. So it's kind of terrifying to think that, the grid goes down, you've got all these hate groups that are already built up. All they got to do is pull their numbers together, A lot of these gangs and stuff, I got into a conversation at work today with a few people, and they were like, if SHTF really happened, do you think all these gangs are going to be out there? Well, of course they are. Of course they are. It's almost going to push their agenda even further. I mean, when there's already, there's rule of law now, and you already have these gangs out there terrorizing and killing and pushing drugs on the street. How do you think that's going to look when there is no rule of law? It's going to look a lot harsher, I would imagine. So then what do we do? Where do we go from here? It seems inevitable that there's just this division that's being created and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, I, for one, am just going to continue to try to educate people around me. You don't got to be pompous. You don't got to be an ass about it. But, let people know how you really feel. The more truth we can spread amongst all this disinformation everywhere on the news and everything, the better chances we have whenever the balloon does go up. So aside from that, you should be hitting the ground and praying every night for this nation and for the people here. For the most part, people are good, but it only takes a few bad apples to spoil the whole bunch. So God bless y'all, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Later.